Guys, good morning. Welcome back to Everyday Struggle. Monday was a little bit of a struggle episode for me, but I think I'm awake today. Wayno Academics, how you guys
Because I'm
doing?
living my best life. That's my song, bro.
Where the fuck did that just come from?
I don't know, bro. That's
Yo, that
my
was
song.
crazy because like he was
Oh my
just
God, what's up
chilling.
with this? Everything is, yo, is that a New Yorker's term, bro?
Yeah, it
Everything's
is. It's a Harlem term.
That's
Crazy.
We're just baffled by you everyday.
Yeah, I'm living my
academics.
best life. I love that song. Lil Duval, man, you got a hit, bro.
Alright,
Feature me on the remix.
academics.
He don't need to tell you that.
Wayno, I feel like the sneaker cam's happening right now.
Oh, the sneak cam?
Can you talk us through what we're seeing?
These is light. These is not nothing special for real. These is just the
When you
penny.
toss to his sneaker cam and then he just brushes us off like this ain't
No,
shit.
because these are not a special sneaker. Like this is the penny, you know, the foam
All right,
posit
turn
one.
off the sneaker cam.
No, the sneak-
Wayno
I
doesn't even
pulled up to the
deserve
green
it.
room. I thought this nigga was running out. He was like a fucking extra about to try out for the Orlando Magic, man. I don't know what's going on. Nigga look like McGrady, like.
These are not
Nigga-
actually the McGrady shorts. These are the Penny Hardaway
All right, man, we don't need
Shaq.
specifics,
You
man.
feel
This
me?
nigga, man.
Went to the finals in 94, 95 against the Houston Rockets. You
Next,
know that if
next
you
thing
know
he's
ball.
gonna tell me is like, yo, this is game worn by Shaq. You know what I mean? Like,
Nah, I wouldn't wear
come
game worn
on.
shorts. I would buy some game worn shorts, but I wouldn't wear them.
Oh my God.
That's pause. Like you gotta pause that. Not wearing another man's shorts.
Could Compass give this nigga a sports/sneaker show, man?
I think we got a
Jeez.
couple of those. We
They
introduced
coming,
them to
man.
some people. Stay
They're on
tuned.
the way. You know what I mean? They're on the way. It'll all make sense later.
All right, let's get into the show. So, it's not the busiest news week, so we're going to answer a lot of fan questions today. Thank you for submitting all of those. Please keep sending, but we're going to start with Trippie Redd. So, during an interview with Power 106 in LA, Trippie talked about his new album, Life's a Trip, of course, and what he would do if he was Kanye West. Apparently, he would donate $30 million to Chicago to help with the hospital. Let's take a look.
Like, there's only one hospital in Chicago that got a place you can go after you get shot. So if you get shot 40 minutes away from the hospital, you gotta go 40
minutes away.
Yeah, and that shit, like, that's sad. And then they got so many artists that have made it out of there, like, not even trying to diss Kanye, because I love Kanye, but I mean, Kanye, like, that's where he from, bro.
Came
Go
off.
show
He got
shots out
the
some
baby
love,
powder
bro. Give
from
him 30
Wayno's
million
like
to build a new
thing
hospital
on the
with
socks
that.
a little bit. Jeez.
You guys got to turn the
Y'all
sneaker
gotta
cam
take the sneaker
off
cam
in the
off the
studio.
camera,
It's very
man.
distracting.
Wayno put a little baby powder on it. and
Act
shit,
not
right?
jacking. He's not jacking the sneaker cam today. That's
No,
all right.
I fuck with the sneaker cam. I'm just saying there's a little baby powder.
Can we
right
get back
there.
into the subject at hand, which is Trippie Redd?
Oh, Trippie Redd.
Yes.
Look, a lot of people have sort of called out Kanye or said that he could do more for his community. He has done stuff in the past, but it was still a little bit surprising. Sorry, my earpiece fell out. To hear Trippie sort of say if he was Kanye, this is what he would do. What do you guys think?
Man, I don't like nobody tell me how to spend my money.
Okay.
For real, man. Don't tell me, oh, go drop 30 million and go make a hospital. Nigga, you go do it or somebody else go do it. Now, you know what it is? And shit, I don't want to give away a little spoiler for the rest of the week, but after having some conversations, because I used to definitely be in, I would think the majority of people who think that Kanye don't do shit for Chicago, especially even hearing like whatever drama they had with like his organization Donda. However, apparently he does like contribute. Maybe we wanted him to contribute more, but he contributes in his own way. We can't expect niggas to just give away. That nigga was just $30 million in debt. You can't come out of the debt and then just be like, here's 30 million, go build a hospital.
Well, you know, the whole thing, I understand what Trippie's saying because at one point in time, like, Harlem Hospital was the best with gunshot trauma in New York. Well, I wouldn't say New York, but I know in Harlem, like, you know, we do have a few hospitals, but that was the one everybody went to, you know, for gunshot trauma. The thing about, like, I'm kind of with you on that. Like, you can't just say give out $30 million because I'm pretty sure a hospital costs way more than $30 million.
Right,
like,
and it's not going to be just a money issue, just logistics-wise.
Exactly. Like, and I haven't even scratched the surface of $30 million, but that's not a lot of money in terms of building that type of place, because if that was the case, you know how many people would build hospitals? It's not that simple. You can't just say, oh, tomorrow I'm going to build a hospital. Now,
Salary for 5 doctors is $1 million. Like, come on now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's like, you can't just build that. But I'm not gonna be critical of what people do without knowing the facts, because like you said, we did find out a lot of different things about what Kanye has done and contributed. I think a lot of people are just critical because they don't know.
Right.
They just don't know. But he's not saying anything wrong, but he just needs to get a little bit more information before he makes an accusation like that.
Absolutely.
And I'm sorry, one more thing. Before we get into hospitals and just gunshots, how about we do a little bit more groundwork to get the guns out of the community, as opposed to just saying, yo, we just need another hospital, because that's not the answer. You build another hospital, So we're just building another hospital for people to get shot to go to.
Exactly. There's
Right,
a
there was
lot of
only one
problems.
point.
A lot of problems to fix. I mean, I guess the only good thing is here it's the fact that he brought this up in general.
Right,
like
right,
now
right.
that Trippie's still very young, he still has a lot of growing to do. But the fact that something like this charitable is front and center on his mind, that's a good sign.
Yeah,
Right, absolutely.
If that's where his mindset is at, I would love for him to link up with Chance the Rapper. By the way,
G-Herbo, right, told us last time he's doing work out there
yeah,
too.
by the way, G-Herbo mentioned the same thing, right? G-Herbo, I remember Lil Durk as well mentioned the same thing about like the hospital situation and why such a why there's so many deaths as a result of gunfire. But we got to target the motherfucker that's been in power in Chicago, who's been the mayor seemingly forever, right? Which is Rahm Emanuel. Like
We know that Chance and Keith have both like taking shots at him recently.
Exactly, but that's where it starts. This is all politics. You get me? Like, just even understand, I've never even been to Chicago, but even understanding and speaking to people there, the way how it's set up, because I've always wondered, I'm like, how is there so much violence in Chicago? And other people say, this shit is fine over here. They built highways around the places where the violence is at.
Right.
So a lot of people could escape that reality. All that really boils down to politics, right? Politicians could sweep it under the rug saying, all right, they fucked up over there, but as long as we get these parts right, and we could secure our votes here, and we could take care of these people, where you gotta make sure downtown areas are good, because that's where the money's gonna come in. We could ignore all them niggas over there. They're gonna kill each other, and they're gonna keep respawning. You get me? And that's a huge problem if we don't hold the motherfuckers that we vote. And that's why it's important to vote. If we don't hold Rahm Emanuel and all the politicians that are responsible for that area responsible, if we don't hold them to the fire, you're not gonna get much
So
change.
we see a lot of rappers transitioning to other careers. When do you guys think we're gonna see more rappers transitioning into politics? Like an OG
depends.
rapper, imagine an OG New Yorker, an OG Chicago rapper sort of having a position in politics.
I mean, it has to be something. It has to be something there as an incentive a bit. You know, like politics is real dedication. Like you have to really dedicate yourself to make a difference. You know, to make a difference. Like with the Chicago thing, I feel like they don't care because a lot of these kids don't materialize into things in life, right? And that's due to poverty. Like wherever there's poverty, there's gonna be violence because there's low education. Where there's low education and people need to eat, they're gonna hurt each other, right? It's just like almost math with that shit. I think that it would be dope to have more artists in the politics, but I can't look for artists to lead us when they can't even lead themselves.
Right. It's gonna have to be the right person.
The right type of people. Like I feel like Bun B should be a candidate for something, at least something locally. Trader Truth, with all the stuff he does. T.I., like I would even put Styles, I would put Styles P in there only because like he's a big weed head, legalization of weed in New York, you know what I mean? It's so many different people that could do it, but...
And it's the local positions that make the biggest difference, ultimately.
Yeah, absolutely, because the president, whoever the president is, like the president to me has never made a difference in my life. Like I can never, growing up, I can never remember my mom having an easy or hard year depending upon who was president. That didn't matter. It was just like a thing that everybody indulged in when it was time to vote. But once I started getting older and I learned that local politicians is the ones that create the funding for these after school programs or take it away, that's what we got to look into more of, you know. So I'm down with artists. It's about the messenger at the end of the day.
You named a couple great people, and I would probably also throw in David Banner into the mix.
Absolutely.
There are very socially conscious people who have used hip hop as their platform, and over the years, their message, regardless of where it started from, has evolved to one that says, listen, these are constructive way to help better the community I came from. And I think the biggest problem for them is really just doing it, because I believe politics is like the NFL. It's like buying a team. You get me? You could have the money, but like there's a lot of other things that will prevent you from just buying the team. When they see a team for sale, it's not like who got the money, bring it up here. No, we got a board to approve who's gonna be coming in. Y'all gotta have a group of people. Like there's a lot of things and a lot of flags people have to check. Now when it comes to politics, number one, you gotta have a lot of funding. I know we talked about $30 million for a hospital, which we all agree wouldn't be enough for a hospital. But a lot of these political campaigns are very expensive. There was hundreds of millions spent on just electing a president. If we're getting a person that comes from the hip hop community, first of all, hip hop niggas be cheap in the first place. That's where the base is. Are we going to support that candidate, wherever
Again,
it is?
it's all about the right person, right? Think about a very charismatic leader, someone who's very smart, who's grounded in the community, a Chance the Rapper type of figure,
Right.
like running. It's just like, he already has so much support publicly, right? Influence is a big deal. And from there, I feel like you could work on funding. It's not going to be easy, like you're saying, but I think the right person could do it and
I
make a
wanted
big
to
difference.
add something. Because since we're talking about this and talk about hospitals and all of that, what French Montana just did, I mean, we don't have the asset to talk about it, but what French Montana just did, I don't want to say the wrong country in Africa,
Right.
but he did something a couple years ago.
Uganda?
Is it Uganda?
It sounds right.
Well,
I don't want to say it wrong,
Yeah, I don't
but
want to say the wrong
believe
because
it
then
is.
you say the
Yeah,
wrong
but
one,
I believe
everybody
it is.
jumps
Let
on
me
you.
fact check.
But Frenchie built the hospital, and like it's now, I believe it's close to being up and running. And from one of the songs that he created, he donated all the proceeds into going into building that hospital.
Right.
So it's like the thing is that when you view French Montana, you look at his whole career, right? You look at his whole career. I'm talking from the DVD era, the battles, everything he's going through from, since he's been in the game, and you look at that type of shit. Could he possibly be a runner? I think it's how it looks. No, for real. Well, I wouldn't say for why you laugh? Why y'all laugh?
Stop
yo?
it, Wayno.
No, seriously.
No, you're making a good point, but
I'm just
French
saying, 'cause-
Montana, cut it out.
But he raised the bread. Like,
Although I heard
hold
he's a
on.
great socialite, though.
Nah, well, I mean,
He moves
I hear,
well with
I, I,
Well,
hear,
not
I,
for
hear, I hear the
politics,
point
but
you
that
have, that's a
Wayno's
very good
making.
point,
Yeah.
Wayno.
But, you know what I mean? I think we have people, and this does go, like, for example, Sway Lee and Michael made it. They donated $10K to 10 kids, right?
Right.
Very charitable. There's a little bit of difference with charity, which I think we all get it that most rappers, once they're well off, even if it's for tax purposes, niggas become charitable because you want to give back to, you want to also give back to the community you came from. I think there's a difference between that and then standing for something. Like I see some of these artists, they're always, whether it's on Instagram, I mean, but that's their platform. Man, T.I. don't miss a beat.
Right.
There's not an issue I don't see him speak on. There's not an injustice that it feels like comes within his ears or his eyes or his feed that he doesn't say, if I can make a difference, I'll make a difference. And also, all my following, I don't care who you are. You could be the most racist motherfucker who just like me dancing to what's happening. You know what I mean? You're about to get enlightened about this. And I think that's where the leaders, and when I'm thinking about politicians, I'm like, I'm glad people could probably raise money, but those are the people who are like kind of fearless and who are standing for things constantly that we want.
Well, specifically in New York, I think the first person that we will see end up getting into politics is Mike Son, right? Because if you look at everything that Mike Son does, he's on the front line everywhere where he goes, you know what I mean, talking about injustice, education, because he did like 7 years in prison, and he changed his whole life. But you know what it is in hip-hop? A lot of times, like, we're talking about this, but it's not viewed on a big national scale as something serious. It's like, okay, another woke brother, and people make fun of it. I think when with the hip-hop community and the hood, we'll start understanding that this shit is not a joke, and if we want to have empowerment, then we have to empower the people that are in front of us, then we can make a difference.
It's just about getting off the internet, right? That's a big part of it. You can talk and tweet and rally as much as you want, but when you're sort of in the community, actively helping people, like when you're running an after-school program and helping a kid every single day, those are the small moves that add up over time and turn into like a real movement. So.
Absolutely.
Curveball.
What? Here he goes.
Curveball
There he
time.
goes.
And again, I hate complimenting motherfuckers I would like. But yesterday I saw on the gram, and despite whatever issues we have, Vic Mensa gave away 1,000 pair of sneakers in Chicago, even though he make trash music. But he's been really standing for some really good things in Chicago. He's been really into a lot of political, he's for his people.
Right.
And if he was someone who announced that he wanted to run for office, I wouldn't be opposed to that. I think that his heart is in the right place when it comes
Would
to
you
that.
send your fan base to vote for him?
I don't know about that.
Come on,
See,
actors.
you can't
Bring it all the way
You know what I
around.
mean? One step
I don't know.
forward.
We'll vote for him, man, but we still tell him,
right.
just put a little note on the ballot, your music trash.
No, props for that. Look at the growth over here.
I know, man. No, I always appreciate that type of stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's like his strong point. I just think sometimes that gets muddied with not being likable because like he can't take a joke.
Yeah. Well, Vic, it's just all jokes. But Trippie, your heart's definitely in the right place.
Absolutely.
I think just keep making small moves
He's
in
talking
that
about the right
direction.
things. I like that.
He is. That's
And at a
very
young
encouraging.
age.
Very young and super encouraging. Love it. Shout out to Trippie. All right, guys. The Grammy Deadlines coming up September 30th will be the cutoff. So I don't know if we have many albums left. We got a ton of them this summer. So we sort of want to give our early predictions for the best rap album category. A lot of albums dropped this year. I don't even have all of them on here. Some are missing. We can add and post.
Yeah.
Just curious, what would be your top picks for nominees? So let's pick 5. And just for reference, last year was Jay's 444, Damn, Culture, Layla's Wisdom from Rhapsody, and Flower Boy from Tyler, the Creator were the nominees.
Damn, I picked 8.
First of all,
Well,
I definitely believe. Wait, are we going to?
Sorry, no, I just realized. So this is also my bad. They
That's
changed the nominees. So like it used to be 5 in each. Now it's 8 nominees in the 4 biggest categories. So that's Record of the Year, I think Album, Song of the Year, a few others. But for our purposes, I guess we might still be limited to just 5.
All right.
Or we could pick 8 for fun. We're also gonna do just our own awards at some point, right?
I'll pick 5, and then I'll say like what's the rest that I have.
All right, let's do it. So of course Drake. Scorpion was huge, ASTROWORLD, Post Malone's Beer Bong, and Bentley's, Cardi's album did well. So those put up big numbers, but we're debating numbers and quality here.
Quality of the year. So for my album of the year, out of the top 8, my nominees.
Let's go one at a time. If we're doing 5, let's go back and forth.
5?
All right,
Okay.
let's go. Wait, no.
All right, so number 1 I got for rap album of the year, I got Nipsey, Victory Lap.
Ak.
I'm gonna go with X ?
Okay.
Pick number 2.
Pusha T, Daytona.
We knew it. Ak.
Oh, my conscious shit, man. Throwing that KOD. My J. Cole.
Really?
Yeah, man, throw it in there.
Wow, very impressive.
Okay.
Cole
All
gotta get
right.
some nominees.
You're trying to leave Drake for like your final pick to act like you're not bothered?
My
All right,
my third was actually KOD.
All right.
Third is KOD.
Okay. Listen, man. We all know the Grammy killer. Gotta throw Kendrick in it, even though it's a soundtrack. Black Panther soundtrack, baby. It's a pro
Black
black here.
Panther soundtrack. Okay, good pick, good pick. Bueno.
Okay. Number 4, I have Travis Scott, Astroworld.
Astro. That did make the deadline, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely did.
Nice.
Right.
Still got a
Okay.
couple weeks left.
You got
Not gonna lie, man. Gotta pick Astroworld as well. Throw that in
that's
there.
your 5th. And my 5th,
Wait. We're only doing 5?
I mean, we're going.
Wait, if we're only doing 5.
Wait, hold on,
we
hold
doing
on.
5? No, we're doing 8. Right?
Okay.
But we was going with our first 5.
Because it's the wrong category. I think best rap album will still be 5. But look, it's Everyday Struggle. We can do
We can make
whatever
our
we
own
want. We
rules,
can
right,
pick
right?
8 because if we do our own award show anyway,
So
we should all be
my
nominees.
5th. Wait, you was on.
I think I was
You was
on-
up next.
Listen,
losing
man, let
count
me just
here.
throw
This thing is
Scorpion
messy.
in there.
Okay, that's your 5th.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna leave it out.
No,
All right.
of course not. Are you kidding
So
me?
I got Black Panther as my number 5.
Okay.
All right, so you both agreed on KOD and Black Panther. That was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we got some more because we still got 2 more left. So
You know what? I
3
want to
more.
throw in
said
Post
8.
Malone. Yeah, I want to throw in Post Malone, Beer Bongs, and Bentley. Phenomenal album. Of course, we know it performs well. Of course, I don't believe it's as cultural as most of these other albums here, but like it's hip hop. You know what I mean? It's hip hop, and we know the Grammys. They love rewarding shit like this.
all right. So after that, my number 6 is Scorpion.
There we go.
That's my number 6.
Drake gonna block that nigga. For real.
Nah, we don't care about that. What you got?
He'll write an essay like Azalea Banks.
got,
Imagine if he
Drake?
says, yo, Wayne, write an essay, man, explaining why I should unblock you.
Yo,
What's
stop,
the
like, don't
formula
let's not.
again? 1
Yo,
3 1 3 1.
131?
Let's not put no
1, 3,
shit like
1.
this in nobody's head because Wayno don't write no fucking essays. All right, Wayno don't write no essays at all. Look, he's really laughing at this shit.
You need a
got
ghostwriter.
here,
I'm
bro?
a really good
I'm
writer.
cool.
Wait,
I don't give a
I
fuck.
got you.
Why y'all turning this into a
You're
thing?
tickling academics here. Look at him.
I imagine him
Dimples
doing
are
it.
out.
Are you crazy? I don't have like my mind capacity. I don't have the mind
don't care that
matter like
much?
to. What'd you say?
I know you checked yesterday if you were unblocked.
No, I didn't. I don't care, man. Can we finish the
Yeah,
the
let's finish this up
conversation?
because when I'm losing count, this paper doesn't
I
really
was
have
at 6.
space.
We was
got
at 6.
fan
So
question.
actually at 7. What's your 7?
Nipsey. Got to go that Nipsey Hussle victory lap.
Okay, after Nipsey's victory lap, I'm going with the Migos Culture 2.
Also, Rich the Kids too, right?
I didn't put that in
Yachty.
there.
Okay.
What's your final act?
You know what?
No good music besides Daytona? Just throwing this out there.
No,
Okay.
not for me.
No. I didn't pick Daytona yet.
Okay.
Now I'm putting Daytona on it.
Okay.
Yeah, the final. Okay, so my final, Stay Dangerous by YG.
Is that 8? Guys,
Yes,
I really
that's
lost
8.
count. But look,
Alright, we'll
anyway,
just name
the
some albums, man.
albums
Like-
you guys had in common were Cole, Drake, Travis Scott, Pusha T. I believe those were it.
Nipsey. We had Nipsey in common.
All right, so albums that we didn't end up on the list. So, of course, Lil Yachty's Lil Bo 2, Ray Shrum 3. Mac Miller had an album out. Kyle, the Nas album, Kids See Ghost. There are a couple things that didn't make the list. Trippie Redd's Life's a Trip, but that's a very recent album. Nicki's
more like
Queen.
Act
Nicki's
album.
Queen.
Cardi's Invasion of Privacy.
It's pretty good, and honestly, I think that will probably get nominated. But
I've only listened to it once.
and I've listened a couple of times.
But then she'll probably get at least song nominations, right? She has some big singles on there, even if it's not the album.
Easily.
I think he'll probably get nominated.
Do you think any hip
Well,
hop album?
Those are our picks. We should also do a predictions because again, your picks. That's our list. You get me? Now you gotta think for these.
So then you would have to just condense that to 5.
No.
And you guys already have a lot in common.
That would be much different than what I think they're gonna do. Like the Academy and how it seems.
But these
to be
are a lot of
voted
the
on.
most commercially successful albums I put on this list, right? A lot of people didn't make it just because I'm sure the Grammys wouldn't even consider them.
Well, like in my opinion, right? I think Culture 2, just because I'm comparing to Culture 1, it's cool. I don't think it should be nominated. If I'm looking at the other albums, and I love the Migos, of course, but
The other albums that came out this year?
yeah, but it probably will be, especially with the commercial success with his coming of age album.
Okay.
I think Cardi's album, because of like what it did and it meant for just rap in general and a woman doing it,
Right.
like I think that would be nominated as well. But would it necessarily be on my list? No, I named a bunch of other albums that were great. Do I think Nipsey and YG are gonna get nominated? It don't seem like the Academy really acknowledges the Nipseys and the YGs. You
But
get me?
you have to submit it though. Like you have to submit it
well,
for
they're
consideration, right?
Well, they're usually submitted, but they just never seem to rise to the top. It always seems to, because, and that's another thing we should probably get into a little bit, is like the whole process, because there's like so many different voting committees. Like there's a general pool that votes on everything, and some of them don't know none of the names.
And we know that's like
Why we doing our own shit?
that's the biggest problem with it, yeah, and that's why we do have to do our own pool. But real quick, before we move on to fan questions, do you guys think any of the rap albums released this year might be nominated for Album of the Year? And if so, who and why?
I feel like there's only 2 I feel like really have a real shot for Album of the Year due to commercial success and rap being on it. Front runner is gonna definitely be Drake, right, with Scorpion, because he's been competing against himself really all this year. Like when I looked at all the records that came out this year, even shit that he's featured on, it's so many big records. So
Album of the Year Grammy would be huge for him, right? He's got best rap album before, if I'm remembering correctly, but I don't think he's made it.
did he get for Take Care?
I think so. He definitely has at least.
No, he got
one
it
of those.
he got it for Take Care.
Take Care.
But that was rap album. He never got
rap album.
album of the year.
Yeah, this would be big for him
Kendrick
even
get
getting
it?
the nomination.
I believe Kendrick might have got it.
For Album of the Year.
Yeah, that's the big category.
My memory is
It's
too
terrible, too.
horrible
Don't
for
worry,
shit
I'll
like
check.
this.
Mine's
But
so bad, yeah.
I think it would
If it
be
was any
Drake.
rapper, it would be.
It'd be Drake, and I feel
I
like
don't think he got Album of the Year.
I feel like Drake could, and I feel like J. Cole could. I feel like
J. Cole. What about Travis?
Nah, for album of the year, which encompasses all genres, they're only picking one of these niggas, and I think it's probably gonna be
Drake
or Cole.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It would have to be one of those 2. That was the only 2 I could pick.
Okay.
Or
Drake
maybe
or Cole?
even Post, to be honest,
Oh, yeah,
because Post kind of blends genres.
He does crossover.
And once you start blending genre like that,
I don't even look at his music as rap music.
But the thing is,
honestly.
all the people he's talking about who are voting for the rap albums and have no idea, they probably know Post Malone.
Absolutely, because he's white. Like, let's just keep it a band, like, for real. Like,
All right, so Post Malone, Drake, and Cole, probably the ones who will make it into
Ain't
the
no
Album
Cole,
of the
though.
Year.
no love for the Carters.
I guess I didn't consider them a rap album. Maybe it would be like rap sung or urban contemporary album, perhaps?
honestly, I like the album, but I wouldn't consider it for Album of the Year. For
Hope
me.
you heard that. No, I'm playing.
I wouldn't consider it for album of the year, but I like the album.
Okay.
All right.
We'll see.
All right, preliminary picks. Stay tuned for the Everyday Struggle Awards coming soonish at the
Right.
end of the year.
At the end of the year, we're doing it.
All right, let's get into some Struggle Exchange fan questions. Let's check out the first one.
What's up, y'all? Agnadesco Wayno. This is Brandon, big fan of the show, and I've been noticing that athletes back in the day said they got thicker skin than the ones right now. And since hip hop and sports are so synonymous, I wonder if y'all feel the same way about the artists now compared to the ones back then.
Hi, Brandon. I really like this question.
Good question. Very good question. I feel very similar about it. I feel like we're in an ultra sensitive era, even to athletes. Like athletes now, you know, they can post their highlights. You know what I mean? And when they're doing something to another athlete, they get sensitive about that. When it comes to artists are ultra sensitive, but I think it's because it's not just artists. I'm just thinking about people in general. Like things, there's so many different things in this world that affect people. Coming up at that time, we talking about a time where it probably wasn't like mass shootings and shit. And we talking about artists that came from the crack era or, you know, the golden era of hip hop, all of that shit, where they was just really doing a lot of the ground lifting and for all these artists today to be doing what they're doing. So I feel like they really didn't give a fuck. That's why you had like the NWAs who was fighting not only to be heard, but was fighting the injustices that they was going through with the LAPD. You know, it's so many artists that we could go through, but I do think that artists now are more I just think people in general are more sensitive today. We had shows like All in the Family that was super racial. You know what I mean? Everything, it was all racial jokes. Now you say one comedian says one racial joke on their stand-up and everybody's like, oh my God, did he actually say that? You know, so I just think in general people are just more sensitive in today's age.
Yeah, and a lot more complacent as well, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to
Wayno.
fight as hard just to like be welcome in, you know what I mean?
Good point, Wayno. But this is a debate show, so I gotta play. But I ain't devil's advocate. I do have a counterpoint.
Okay.
I think people overall
Right.
are more sensitive. I think rappers are probably less sensitive, or maybe the same as before. I think what the big difference that would make us even consider a question like this when we're thinking about artists is the fact we got social media. Could you imagine Pac on social media?
Oh, it would have been so crazy.
Y'all thought Meek was out of control? Pac would have been tweeting everything about Faith and Biggie. He would have been going wild. To all him, you'd have probably been at the niggas who shot him like, y'all niggas, yo, you'd have been wilding.
But I feel like that's a big point of sensitivity because at this point, right, when you look back, right, niggas was bringing guns to award shows back then, right? Like I think that they're a little bit more sensitive only because they can spew their feelings and they can get a general reaction out of people. Like a tweet rant for a day is like almost dropping a piece of product. Before it was more emphasis. We only had music and we only had articles to tell us about music. So we didn't really care too much more about anything else. Like MTV Cribs was like this amazing thing that came on the tail end of when everybody died, right? Well, not everybody. Let me not say some shit like that. I mean, like Big and Pac.
Right.
You know, so I feel like artists today, I get what you're saying, but I think that's a big part of sensitivity. Pac was a very sensitive person.
No, but what I mean is that like we've heard stories until you see documented, you would never realize how, especially artists from the previous generations who really built and they were successful on keeping that mystique.
Yeah.
So we didn't know when they were upset at something. We didn't know that they were going off on people or whatever. And also, fan engagement was much less. You never, people consumed your music through the radio. They weren't on social media right after you dropped it, tweeting at you, DMing you, that was trash. So it was so much more of a separation. And also, there was a veil there where you couldn't really see what an artist was thinking until they were on 106 in Park.
Right.
So you
get
think
me?
it's kind of the same still?
Yeah, I think it's kind of the same. It's just now there's much more fan interaction, and you get to see your favorite artist, you could just go on their page every day and see what they're up to.
And catch them
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah.
If you don't catch
Every
them
day.
on their page, TMZ is gonna catch you at the airport, at a restaurant.
But and
There's just so much access now.
At the same time, presentation was everything. So a lot of people held more shit back. That's what I'm saying. Like they held a little bit more shit in, so because they didn't want to be deemed a certain way. So I'm just saying, based off what we have, as opposed to what we could speculate, right? So what we have is a bunch of hard artists that talked a bunch of shit. You know, they did express their emotions, because we said this before, like a lot of street rappers express their emotions. It's just people can't relate to it, so they don't look at it as emotional. Now today, it's like rappers are they're emotional about everything. It's like, I called my label and they didn't tell me a release date. Fuck them. You know what I mean? It's like they complain about everything.
Yeah, it's just
you know?
the kind of stuff like, you'd have vented to your friends or yelled
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
wall.
yeah. Now it's like,
you can hop on Twitter.
Well, at least they do that. Like, in last generation, they would run up in the label.
And knock
breaking shit.
out. Yeah.
But like, niggas don't want me to come to that Def Jam building. You hear artists?
Take a baseball bat to the office.
Right.
Oh, man. All right.
That's the reason why, like, I ran into a couple of executives. Executives got better security than rappers. I don't even know, like, the executives I know, they have way better security than rappers. And I'll be like, yo, why do you need security? Like, you're a white dude. Who is looking for you? But if a rapper wants to choke him the fuck out because his record not coming out or he ain't get paid whatever he think,
man, you just gotta be amongst people and be real with people, and you won't. I wouldn't say that you wouldn't need security, right? Because I can never tell anybody how they can feel about
in the
their
90s,
safety.
you probably needed security.
No, in the 90s you needed way more security.
Watching Straight Outta Compton, man. Imagine you better have that
baseball
anti-Suge Knight security.
Brandon, thank you for that question. Let's check out our next one. This is from Lorenzo. Very interesting spelling there. I've never seen Lorenzo spelled like that. But anyway, he says, "What's up, gang? I'm a big fan of Kanye West, and when I listen more and more to ASTROWORLD, I truly believe that this is Travis's equivalent to Graduation. What do y'all think?" This is such an interesting question because I've always thought that the Kanye and Travis sound has blended a lot. Like the Yeezus era was very interesting for me. But anyway.
Yeah. Is he comparing it just because it's like the third album? Like,
No,
just because
I actually agree with this, and I definitely didn't think of this before. I've seen it. Yeah, I agree with that. This is why I agree with it. Graduation, the sound of Kanye with College Dropout, Late Registration, Graduation, it kind of became a little bit more mainstream, but it evolved and became bigger. And with Travis Scott, ASTROWORLD, a lot of people, because his last project, what was it called, Birds in the Trap, like they were like, yo, I hope the next one is gonna be more like Rodeo. And a lot of times fans get married to like your first album. And he took some elements of that and he kind of just made it bigger, or tried to at least. So again, I'm not saying, and this is where I gotta watch my words, I'm not saying it's Graduation level.
Right.
If we're gonna say what's his Graduation, this is definitely it for him.
All right, and so just a quick refresher. Mine is so bad. So Champion, Stronger,
I was about to
Good
say,
Life, Can't Tell Me Nothing.
I was about to say Flashing
Flashing Lights. No, just thinking about
I'm not comparing the album.
No, you
It's
said
okay.
I'm saying this because you said with this album it became bigger. He had big tracks. You're saying it's for Travis. So I'm just trying to remind you guys
remember
of what was on it.
Stronger was that song when I first heard. I said, damn, this is Kanye. Like Kanye, like moved into a different realm. That was like global music.
I feel you on that, but you know what?
Does Travis have a Good Life on ASTROWORLD?
Fuck Good Life. He ain't got a Can't Tell Me Nothing. He ain't got a Can't Tell Me Nothing on there. Now, because he brought up these names, we are gonna kind of compare them, right?
But it's not just a completely empty comparison. In his defense, just because they've obviously worked together and they clearly have influenced each other.
I feel like direction as far as like his career. I feel like, Graduation is what kind of catapulted Ye, right? Is what really catapulted Ye into those next conversations with the records.
Mainstream global star.
Yeah, Big Brother on it. See, the thing is just that that's one of my favorite Kanye albums because he was rapping a lot on that album, right? Which, I ain't gonna lie, Travis, I wouldn't compare him to Ye as a rapper, but he kind of got a few joints on there where he's going in.
But do you consider them in the same vein where we think Kanye is one of the greatest artists of all times in terms of production and at rapping, but not necessarily a great rapper?
Let me say this too. You see, with Kanye, beyond just the music and the sound, by the time we got to Graduation, we saw a man evolving. Like, even with the records, you saw a lot of emotion that he was expressing through all his records. You mentioned Big Brother, right? Travis Scott music is a little bit different. It's kind of like a little turn-up shit, you feel me? Like, and while there's some sincerity and probably some lines that really mean some shit, like, it's hard to compare to an album like Graduation, because Graduation, like, really, like...
There's a different time in music.
Yeah, and it I don't know, it holds a different place when I'm thinking about how I view Kanye. Right? Maybe it's because Kanye is like 6 albums in.
Right.
Right, but
Well, if
it's-
we're talking just trajectory at that point,
Trajectory.
at this point in Kanye's
The
career,
the
at this
only
point
way-
in Travis,
the
do you
only
feel
comparison-
like Travis has evolved sort of and been pushing culture as much as Kanye?
Yeah, I feel like he has
Did at that
a
time?
newfound respect. He definitely has a newfound respect that has taken him out of the conversation with a lot of peers he had previously, right? And that's due to him putting out a good album and it's selling very well. Like that shit is already platinum. Now, what's that? 2 weeks, 3 weeks, right? It's already platinum. So I think that he's definitely in a different conversation as far as artistry. That's why we was talking about before. Is he in the top 5 of the best artists today? Now, before top 5 was based on solely lyricism. I'm over that. Like, I understand that that's not the forefront. And even when Kanye was the man, he wasn't put into the top 5 just based on total lyricism. It was just making music. So I do feel like he's in there. I do feel like he's got further than what everybody thought he would be. Because I'm not saying that I didn't think he was going to be a big artist, but it's happened in 3 albums. It's really happened in 3 albums. So we can kind of put that there. It's just I hold graduation in a certain place.
Yeah, the only way it's the album that brings him to a astronomically different level, but that's about it as far as comparison. Sicko Mode is cool, but Can't Tell Me Nothing's a classic.
Okay? That's what I'm saying. It's a whole nother level. I don't want him to go 808s and heartbreaks after this.
Nah.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what we have next. This one is from Kulas. Sorry, don't know your real name, but do you guys count Lil Wayne as one of the mixtape GOATs? If so, why? And did people forget Gilly the Kid wrote for him? I feel like we've sort of broached this topic before, right?
Not about. So.
Like Wayne as mixtape king.
Yeah. So I feel like Wayne is definitely one of the top, but I think that shit was by accident because so much of his music got leaked. I don't think that was something he intended to do.
Hey, if it's an accident, does that mean it's not real?
No, not taking that away. And the whole thing with Gilly, there was a lot of back and forth with that too, because that was the DVD era. A lot of people forgot about that. But I don't know if Gilly actually wrote for him, but it goes kind of back to the whole Safari Nicki thing. I felt like his influence in the room from Gilly and being around Philly dudes is what made him rap a certain type of way. I don't know if it was exact lines and exact bars, but I felt like Gilly's influence and him being down with Cash Money at that time did push him to a certain level. And Currency too. A lot of people don't talk about that as well. Currency was another person that was on that bus with him day in and day out that was pushing him lyrically as well.
Yeah, again, I don't know what Gilly helped out with or not. However, I will say what a lot of people, and it feels like the majority consensus is that Wayne's peak was after that Gilly era. So, like, yeah, he was delivering hot shit, and perhaps his classic came during that era, which we talking about album-wise. But a lot of the mixtape stuff, unless I have my timeline wrong, that people consider him the GOAT for a lot of those remixes, that we were just like, damn, this guy possibly is the greatest rapper alive. It was after Gilly. So, not knocking what Gilly may have contributed, but I can't knock Wayne at all. You get me? You know, like, sometimes the conversation with, like, say, Nicki, or what people used to try to say is that, hey, she hasn't been the same since Safari been around. And I think this album, she tried to prove those people wrong. But that's a difference than people looking at you and saying, yeah, you were dope then when he was around, but damn, did you even get doper? And he wasn't around.
Right.
So that's a little bit different. But in far as the mixtape game in Wayne, for me, that's the reason why I used to be on sites like that. Piffins, like Wayne, Meek, and a couple of other people, like they built all these mixtape sites, which I don't know if they're deceased now, but
It's a lot of. But
pull it
the
down.
whole run.
And he's definitely on the Mount Rushmore of mixtapes. Him, 50, and Give Me Two More.
We gotta stop with all these Mount Rushmore lists, all this. It's
Wayne and 50 ain't on
I'm
the
not
Mount
saying. I'm
Rushmore?
just saying it's like I feel like we make too many lists.
Yeah, there's
like,
a Mount Rushmore
it's too exactly. It's like,
Hey, wait, no, it's our awards. We'll make all the lists we want.
right,
okay?
but I feel like all right, that whole people started respecting Wayne as a rapper. Carter won. Because at that point, he was just viewed as a guy from the South. Like, people still was holding him the wobbity, right, at that point. To the Carter 1. From Carter 1, which is, I think, 05 to 08, I felt like that 2 to 3 year span, because Carter 3, he kind of changed everything from the mixtape shit. I really felt like if Wayne would have kept rapping at the level he was rapping on Carter 2, because Carter 3 is more like commercial success. If he would have kept rapping the way he was rapping, a lot of these kids today would have kept rapping, or would be rapping more, right? But that's from 05 to 08. I think the Gilly shit was like 05, 06, and then it stopped, and then it was Wayne 07, Dedication time. I could be wrong about that time, but Dedication 1s and 2, Dedication 1 was 06. Dedication 2 was 07, I think. And then Carter 3 came after. But definitely has some influence there. I feel like anybody who's in a room with you, whether they write a bar for you or not, you just writing and attacking shit a certain way based on the energy that's around you.
And honestly, I used to watch like the back and forth DVDs, which some of those clips are still on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah, a lot of them.
But I never really, you see, this is the thing when people attribute, yo, I wrote for you, right? Are you in the room, you crushing up weed? Are you just giving a couple of lines? Did you give the hook? You gave the whole song? Or you helping edit? Are you helping, hey, yo, say it like this? Like, what are you doing? It's a big difference. If you just say, yo, I banged this out when I was at so-and-so studio, you should record that. And you listen to it, say, this fine, recorded line for line. It's reference track.
Right.
That's different. Now we view you different. If you want people that be like, nah, I don't sound good. Like you're not a yes man? That don't sound good, man. Take that out, or yo, say it like this. Are we gonna look at you and say you're right? Again, I don't know. And I'm not gonna doubt Gilly and him saying he wrote for Wayne or he did whatever for Wayne, but I've never heard Wayne really like contest or even say anything. Maybe he doesn't have a side, but maybe he does. And that becomes a very sticky and tricky situation. A lot of joints that was supposedly helped out on were just kind of loose joints, so like we don't have like credits, and even credits could lie, because Safari getting credit for all type of shit. That nigga was crushing up weed and getting lipstick from persons, but it's just crazy.
All right.
Bingo.
All right, thank you for that question. So we have one more for you guys. Let's see. How should managers interested in unsigned and up-and-coming artists do business when reaching out to new talent? Also, what are basics to becoming an artist manager as far as knowledge? This sounds like a Wayno question.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Well, first off, I would say like we're reaching out to new talent. It depends on, the age, who you're dealing with, what type of person.
Let's use Little AK as a case study. Pretty new rapper, sort of had a big following before his rap career took off. A couple face tattoos, some colored dreads. Good following. He has like 2 singles out. Wayno, what's the move here?
Why do we have to use
I'm trying to make this a little bit more
trying to be a little fake serious.
realistic here.
No. Well, hold on. Even though I love what Lil AK is discussed, but no, because I'm a furry in this sense, because I had this exact question when the last few times I DJ'd was at a college, my old college, and somebody came up to me. It was this kid. He's in college. He's not one of those cool people, so he's not gonna be a rapper.
Right.
But he's one of those people that likes to be behind the scenes. And I was telling him, I'm like, dope. I'm glad you like being behind the scenes. And he was like, yo, what advice? He really asked this question to me.
Right.
He was like, what should I be doing?
So,
right?
Okay, so jokes aside.
So think about it in terms of, you are a young kid, you're either, some people from your neighborhood who be rapping, or you go to a college and like a bunch of people who
But just so he's saying, how do you reach out to new talent? So let's just say there's 2 tiers. There's like a kid from your neighborhood who's brand new, and there's a mid-tier Lil AK artist.
Well, what I did, I could speak on like my artist TJ Porter that I got.
Okay.
When I reached out to him through like Instagram, and then I seen that like somebody I grew up with knew him. So he brought him to me, we started speaking, but at the time he was 17. So the first thing I did was I went to his mom, and I asked his mom, could I have a conversation with her? And I asked, can I have permission to work with your son? Because he's underage, because that's somebody's child, you know what I mean? So
first of all, 18 and under, let's talk to parents.
It depends, it depends on who's in your life. Like, you find some 18-year-old kids that don't have no parents, or their parents don't care about what they do. So every time what I do when I speak to a new artist, I say, let me do something for you that you can't do for yourself. If I can't do anything for you that you're not already doing, I don't have the right to be in your business, because essentially I'm just another bill. But if I can legitimize me being another bill by what I can help with, we need to do some work. So it's really particular on who you're reaching out to. Secondly, if it's an up-and-coming artist who has some traction going, it's all about where are they at with their business, because essentially all of this is business. So it's like, okay, if you have a record that may be charting or doing well, do you have a business manager? Are you monetizing your money? Like, are you finding out where your streams are going? All the logistic questions, and then are you interested in doing any deals? You know, if you're not, then we need to figure out a plan over the next 6 months that we could follow in order to get you where you need to be. My whole thing is asking them, what do they want to do?
And how much of this goes into the first convo? So with TJ, for example, you had someone in common who could connect you. You could have the conversation in real life. What if someone's reaching out to Lil AK on Instagram? They know he already gets a ton of messages. They don't want to just be spam. How specific is the question? Is it like, hey, I checked out all of your whatever, and this is what I think that you can do to help? Or is it too soon to...
Well, for me, I have to pull up on you. Like, and
so
what
you
I mean
have to
by
find
that,
the face-to-face connection.
I got to find a face-to-face because honestly, like the way I do business is like, it's really hands-on. It's like, I might have my kids with me one day and I got to come to something that you're doing. I want to be comfortable with the person as opposed to the artist. So I'm more into the person, the person. In order to have personnel, you have to get personal with them, right? So I'm trying to sell you on why you should work with me, right? So I have to come talk to you and get you to understand what type of person I am.
Okay.
With me, like going to you and gaining your trust, that's gonna determine if you wanna do any type of business with me. Because I could be an asshole. I could do a lot of amazing things, but I could be an asshole and a dickhead, and you can be too. And I might not wanna deal with that. So let's get a chance to sit down, talk, fill out the vibe of one another. We could just be cool after that. It doesn't necessarily have to be business, because for me, I reach out to a lot of artists that I see having traction around the city just to see if they need help. I don't have to get a dime off you. I'm just like it's a fraternity. So if I see you doing good, I'm like, yo, what you doing? Do you need help? All right, cool. Now, if you want me to help you beyond whatever I can provide, as for just making a phone call or reaching out to somebody that you may want to get to because you're trying to push your shit to the forefront or as high as you can get it, cool. But if not, I'm cool with just having a conversation and building a relationship, because I don't know where you'll be 5 years down the line.
Well, I think the only thing well, it's a follow-up question, because I know a lot of people, and I've been encouraging a lot of people, like, yo, you don't gotta always be the rapper. You don't gotta be the nigga who got all the limelight. Managers, and I see like management companies, like, those are the dope things that, to be honest, you're shaping the trajectory of an artist's career, and you make a lot of money. Like, if you do it well.
If you do it well, absolutely.
So, like, people always get stuck on like 2-3 roles in rap and hip hop. So I like when people ask these questions, which may be more behind the scenes. Now, for Wayno, and I'm gonna bring you back on even some of the advice you're giving, right? If you don't have, you have credentials.
Right.
When you pull up on someone and be like, yo, yeah, I did this, and that, that helps a lot.
Yeah, that does help a lot.
Oh, shit,
Right, yeah.
you got who, what?
Right.
Help me out.
Right.
There's a kid right now who says, yo, I want to be a manager, but yeah, where do I start? Do I get my contacts up? Because I never did nothing for no one.
Right.
I love the music game. I like being behind the scenes. I'm a hustler. I could make the groundwork.
Right.
Where do I start? And like, if I have no credentials,
yeah, that's what I'm wondering in terms of sort of how you pitch yourself to the person, right? Because we all get a lot of messages, but like people, I'll tell you this: people who are like talented and smart and focused and pay attention to detail, those people are so rare. Like, no one's ever gonna turn you down. Me, academics, Wayno, if we find a person like that to help, you will never turn you down. So I'm saying, do you just pull up in the DMs like, yo, I've been researching you and following you for 6 months.
Right.
Here's all the stuff I've realized about you. Here are the ways I think you can improve your business without, of course, giving away too much? Like, how specific is that first message?
Well, because we're being particular to social media.
Because like, say you're in like a small town in the middle of somewhere where it's just hard to like.
Well, if you're an up and coming guy and you have absolutely no experience, I say like this, like passion, right? Like me, for myself, I threw myself into management because I wanted to get another A&R job, and nobody gave a damn about what I did previously. So I had no other options. I was like, yo, I really want to get back into music. I had no experience in doing management. I was just like, yo, I'm just gonna do this shit, and I'm gonna get hit in my face enough times until I learn how to duck.
Right.
And essentially that's what it is. So I would just say, like, sell yourself on what you're willing to do. Like, first off, if you want to be a manager, just understand that you're babysitting a person that makes 4 times the money that you do. You're wiping somebody else's ass. If you had to watch your little brother or you have a child, that's management. You know what I mean? Like, seriously, like, because you're gonna get all the kudos and all the praise for the wins, but when it's 1 L, the 1 L is gonna be harder than all the wins. So the thing is that you have to have tough skin. You have to have tough skin. You got to be driven, and you got to have plans. Like, you have to be very strategic, because the thing about it is you want the artist to be creative at all times. It's hard for somebody to be creative when you're trying to explain to them, all of this shit that they don't really need to know. You need to be able to have a relationship with everybody that's around them in order to move them. So I would say, like, for the up and coming guy to just go in and sell your dream, as well as them having a dream, you got to sell your dream. Like, yo, listen, I don't know shit, but I fucking believe in you, and I think you're amazing, and I want a shot. And if I can't make this shit work, fuck it, we could just be cool or not, but at least give me a shot. So I think, you know, you got to have that comfort with confidence. Like, you just gotta have the confidence. If you're a person, and for me, I wasn't always the most confident person, but I knew what I wanted out of life. So I was like, yo, fuck it. What else could I do wrong? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I fucked up so many other things. I would rather fuck up and learn for something that I want to do in life, which was management at the time.
Yeah. To even speak to that point, I realized one of my friends I knew in college, he was with Don Q and them, and I guess he does some management stuff for Don Q and A Boogie. And I used to play man, and of course he's looking at me like, yo, I'm glad that we're reconnecting this setting. But I was at him, I'm like, yo, how you get in this position? You know what he said? He said, I made myself available. I was around enough in different, just helping out. Like, you offer your services, and when people see that you're an asset and to your word, passion, that could be something, and that is something you need from a manager. So
absolutely,
I think that's probably.
You guys still co-sign internships? I know a lot of people don't believe in them, but I 130,000,000% would recommend internships. Like, if you were a great intern, I promise you, people will notice.
No, absolutely. I mean, like, honestly, like, I'm a product of all of the things I did at 18 years old. Like, if I wasn't, it was a lot of people interning with me. Like, I wasn't the only intern at Rockefeller. It was a bunch of them, and I'm not to toot my own horn, but beat. I was willing to do the shit that everybody wasn't willing to do. I was willing to, y'all could call my phone Saturday early in the morning. I would stay out till 5 in the morning, and I was willing to not take a shower till the next day just so I could get shit done. You know, and internships is a very, very big part of the business, because when you look at every highly successful person, you say, well, what did they do? I had an internship. And an internship, I wasn't in college, so I didn't get no college credits. All I did was I sold myself. I went up to the office and was like, yo, I really want to be in this shit. What can I help with? And it went from me just helping out to them giving me an actual internship that they were giving to people who were in college. Yeah,
I know that the network grows with you. So not only like your bosses and the people above you, but all the other interns, the ones who elevate, then you look around in 5-10 years and everyone's doing amazing and you can help each other out. So look, internships are definitely a good way in. If you're someone who doesn't live in a big city like New York and not super connected, come for the summer, come for the fall, go to LA, try to figure it out. Just get in the mix.
I'm so tired of the arrexant interns.
Don't be entitled. Don't be entitled. When someone asks you, don't roll your eyes, don't get an attitude. Don't be that
person.
Get
what fucking coffee, man?
Exactly. Just
get your fucking. Look at the fucking coffee, B.
Don't be entitled. All right. Thank you, Wayno. Thank you, academics. So next time someone asks you this question at the club, you got an answer, or
he gonna say call Wayno.
Yeah. Call my man. He knows. He knows.
This guy. I'm just trying to get out of here that we get up on time today. We're going up on time today.
Oh boy, let's see what happens. All right, so we're gonna leave so we get up on time. Remember, we have 2 more shows this week, and then we're off for all of Labor Day week. We'll be back here September 10th.
Vacation.
No, I
like,
just want people always say we don't message things, and then they get pissed, and is Everyday Struggle canceled?
We're like a ticker at the bottom.
I know, right?
Everyday Struggle is not canceled. Everyday Struggle is
not
canceled.
We ain't here next week. The desk is in I don't know. She's in
the Arctic Circle.
Swisherland? What the hell is
Swisherland?
I think you said Swisherland.
Me too. I was like, that doesn't sound so bad.
She about to deposit like another $3 million in the Swiss bank account. Let's get out of here, though.
Swisherland.
All right, let's get out of here before I expose all my business to you guys tomorrow on Everyday Struggle.